Good comments, a good thing to point out, and that's something we need to, I believe, be very aware of before we get down there. One thing that I wanted to bring up is with regards to contracts and unions. Stop me if I start treading into territory I shouldn't. When it comes to this agreement, is there an understanding that there would still be 2 contracts? Or would there be 1 contract at the end of this?
That hasn't been discussed yet, but so I would say we'd probably be working towards 1 contract when it's all said and done. It could be over a period of years.
So one of the challenges I think with that might be the mechanics of how both cities would negotiate or come to the table, or how would we consider the framework for negotiation for the subsequent contracts once that, or the first contract even for that coming up. So is there any sort of, I mean, does that set off any warning bells in your guys' minds, or do you think that is going to be no problem?
Certainly that would be an issue that we'd have to face. Each community has to engage its chapter of the IAFF already. We would try to, they are together, but they have, with the separate agreements. So we're already in that position. I think bringing it together, whether we do this or not, I think there may be advocacy that we receive to move in that direction outside of consolidation of any kind. I think that dynamic will manifest itself no matter what we do. But it certainly is something that will have to be addressed. I don't want to tell you that that will be really easy to do. There are differences in the contracts, and we will have to reconcile those and land on, if there is going to be 1 contract, land on a specific provision or set of language around all the different issues. That will be a challenge to do.
Potentially a challenge to do. One of the, keep in mind at the table, we've had firefighters from Washougal, from Camas, we've had our volunteers have been at the table, and the union representation as well. So all that kind of works inside of itself. The discussions at each of the meetings, and this last one we got into them a little bit more as well. I don't know if I want to use the word assurance, but I think I want to use the word assurance from the union representative, is that they very much want to work with the 2 cities to see how this could work, and that they're not allowing, in their minds, they're not allowing the contracts to be an impediment to that.
I think that's fair.
As they said, it could be very easy from their standpoint.
Right.
I didn't ask them to define that, so. The cooperation has been very, very good, though.
Yes.
And, everybody's cards are on the table. They combined unions for a reason. They're already looking at going down this road at some point, or asking the cities to go down this road at some point, so.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think it would be fair to say that they are encouraging us to continue down the path of exploration here in terms of the 2 units.
Right.
A couple of things from those meetings. We talked about the putting it out for professionals, request for proposal, not specifically just identifying one individual and then saying, let's deal with him. The reason that I like that idea is because then that group sits and listens to the professionals come back and say, this is the kind of data we'll give you, versus having one individual that I don't want it to be looked upon as, well, we got the guy that just wants to give Sean the answers Sean wants to hear, kind of thing. And so with that, I'm anxious to see somebody come in and do some evaluations for us, because as it's been stated around the table, level of service needs to stay status quo or go up, or it's not worth the time. And I'm curious to see if we split this out from the evaluation side of it for the functionality, and the other is we go to somebody like Paul Lewis who can give us the financial side of this, and we'll only know that after we've seen the presentations from the various individuals, and I'm assuming it'll go out for request for proposal, is that it? Do you guys feel the same way? Is that? And what I want to get from Paul Lewis is an explanation, or someone in that capacity, explanation as to what it is we put into our fire budget, of, you know, so many dollars a thousand, versus what does Camas put into it. I mean, I want to see those kind of numbers come out of this thing as well. It's going to be a fairly significant budget. What would the two together be combined? What would they be?
We're at 2.2, and
We're at 6.6 million right now.
But that's including EMS.
Yes, that's basically 3 general fund and 3 EMS.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, again, I want to reiterate what Sean has said, is that everybody's at the table, and at this point in time, I don't see any reason that we aren't allowed to speak our mind and put everything on the table, and I think that's the best process. And so I'm anxious to see what comes out of the survey or the study, and see where we go from there. I just want to make sure, like I said, what my goal in this whole thing is what's best for the city of Washougal, and secondarily, what's best for our department. So, see where we go from there.
Chief Leon, Lloyd, do you guys have anything to?
I'd like to clarify a couple of questions that came up. First of all, Ron and I never talked about any stations. Actually, Station 171, your fire station, works is an advantage for us because Station 41 is the one that's attached to Camas City Hall. So when we respond into Camas, which is hundreds of times, we take a much longer run. Being here, we've reduced our time to responses in Washougal, even being at the station on 39th, which we'll be vacating and actually moving into your station in December, hopefully. It reduces our response times, and that's an advantage to your clients. So we have no intention of closing any stations down or moving. The station we have at City Hall is our busiest station. The station in Grass Valley only has 2 people assigned to it. They go on an ambulance or a fire engine. The other question about the $1.50, basically a fire authority is managed by council members from both authorities or 3 authorities or how many authorities you have in there. So if you have 3 council members from Washougal and 3 from Camas, they decide how that money is going to be spent. It is $1.50, but when you go out for the fire authority, you could say, we want to start at $1.25. So it cannot go up until the board who manages the fire authority specifies it can go up. So there's a protection there that it won't automatically go up.
Thank you, Chief. Lloyd, anything to?
Big subject. Thank you for this thoughtful discussion and time.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for being with us tonight. Certainly, as you work through the manpower sheets and that type of stuff, if you have specific questions on those, Chief Schumacher would be the best person to decode those. Great, could you see if our guest speak? So we get into the mayor's comments. We have a little surprise item tonight. Hi, Marie.
Thanks for letting us come in for a few minutes. This is Sho Fukatsu.
Sho, very nice to meet you.
Mr. Sho.
Welcome.